Good evening, everybody. It's Charlie, and welcome back to another video on the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel. Hope everyone's doing all right today, as always. So it's your match preview. It's the night before the game, Arsenal against Leeds United, a game that doing this video now. Burnley have not played Aston Villa. I've purposely done it at this time just because I feel like I don't want to have to do it after a potential Burnley win. Um, I don't think Burnley will win against Aston Villa. I think it'll either be a draw or they'll get beat. But only time will tell. It really wouldn't surprise me with how they're playing. And of course, Everton play against Leicester away at the same time that we play Arsenal. So obviously we'll all be focusing on our game, but with the little side focus on Everton as well. We currently sit 2 points above the relegation zone with 4 games left to play. It's squeaky bum time now, people. Let's just say how it is. It's very nervy and worrying times. Do I think we'll be safe? I mean, I'm 50-50 at the minute. After that Watford win, I was adamant that we were staying up and that everything was going to be fine. And then the games happened after that, which made me kind of sit back and think maybe I did speak a bit too soon. But just before I get into the preview in more detail, smash that like button. Please subscribe if you're brand new. Share all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, please go and have a look at the membership available on Chatting Leeds. It's £1.99 a month, and you'll see all the perks that come along with that. So then, Arsenal against Leeds at the Emirates. I went down to the Emirates when we got beat by them in the Cup in October, I believe that was. Decent away day, although the Arsenal fans just acted like absolute idiots. I didn't expect it from them, if I'm being honest with you. But then again, when you've got to go and sit and watch football in a library every week, I guess some of them just wanted to make some noise. But in all seriousness, this is going to be a very tough fixture. Again, Spurs play against Liverpool tonight as well. So depending on how that game goes, will probably determine how Arsenal approach this game. I do still think they'll, of course, want to go out and win it. From their point of view, it's a game that they should be winning. But I do feel like if we can play like we did against Man City, yes, they beat us 4-0, and yes, they did deserve their win, but it wasn't a 4-0 game. I think the scoreline doesn't reflect the game really. I thought I know it sounds obvious, but other than the City goals, I felt like Leeds did compete fairly well in that game. And, Arsenal are nowhere near as good as Man City. It's a young Arsenal team as well. You know, they need to show a bit of character now, for this top 4 race. We need to show heart, character, fight, desire in this relegation scrap. So it's poised to be a very entertaining fixture for the neutral. But I'm sure, like me, a lot of Leeds fans will be watching from behind the sofa. How do Leeds approach this game then? For me, I feel like we will set up with the 3 centre backs like we did against City. I think it works really well. And I think against a team like Arsenal as well, and how they set up in the 4-2-3-1, I feel like if we have 3 centre backs plus the wing backs, I do feel like we have the ability to frustrate Arsenal and make them second guess themselves. They've got really good players all over pitch. They have started to play a certain Eddie Nketiah, who Leeds fans know very well from the Championship. They have started to play Eddie up front a little bit more. Is he enough to get them goals? For me, no. Yes, he did get 2 at Stamford Bridge, but I feel like, and again, this could bite me on arse, but I do feel like we can cope with Nketiah. I'm not particularly scared of him or wary of him. Yes, he might score, and fair play if he does, but in terms of his all-round play, I do think we can manage him. There's 3 players in particular that I'm having a look at thinking, We do need to keep these quiet if possible. And it's the obvious three: Saka, Odegaard, and Martinelli, and possibly Smith Rowe, depending on how Arteta wants to approach it. I think Smith Rowe's really underrated. He's a really talented player as well. He did score against us at Ellen Road in that 4-1 win. I think was it Martinelli that scored two, Smith Rowe and Saka as well. Saka has really impressed me this season. I think last season I did think he was slightly overhyped. I thought he was a good player, but I just thought it was because he was Arsenal and he's British, the media, hyping him up. But this season he's carried it on, and I must admit he's a really talented player and a player that I'm happy that he's English and can hopefully help England in the World Cup this year and future tournaments as well. But of course, I hope he has a shocker against Leeds tomorrow. As I said, I do think the three at the back and the wing backs did work against Man City. Although I was kind of annoyed to see Firpo in the starting 11, I did feel like he had a decent enough game. He didn't really make a mistake. But then there's the approach that you could possibly put Harrison as a left wing back, because of his abilities that he's got defensively. Then you could add James on at the left side of midfield, a Rafinha on the right with Luke Ayling at right wing back. And, I hope to see Gellart up front. Is he going to start him? I don't think so, if I'm being honest. There's loads of Twitter accounts predicting that Joffrey's starting, but I just can't see it, if I'm being honest. I think Gellart is going to be used as an impact sub until end of season. I really do. Unless we get to the last game against Brentford, where, fingers crossed, we might be safe by then or whatever. I think that's the only scenario when we see him start. But again, I could say that, and then he could be starting against Arsenal tomorrow. You just don't know. As for my starting 11, then I would go with Illan Meslier in goal, Ayling at right wing back, my three centre backs. I wouldn't put Llorente in there myself, but I do think, based on the press conference, that he's going to have a back three of Llorente on the right, Cock in the middle with Cooper at left centre back. He did say that Coops is fit to start, so I think he will. And then I think Firpo will start at left wing back. And then the four in midfield, you're probably looking at Rafinha, Click, Phillips, and Harrison. And then probably, no, not Harrison. In fact, yes, Harrison. Sorry, what am I on about? Because last week he didn't start Dan James. He started with Harrison. So maybe he'll put Harrison out on the left again with Rodrigo up front. If he started like that, I'll be honest, I wouldn't mind that. If he goes with Koch, in with Phillips, and then Strike in the back three, I think that's a sign that he's going out defensive, to just not lose the game. Again, any outcome depends on what the Burnley game is today and how Everton do against Leicester. As I said at the beginning, I don't think Burnley will win a fourth game in a row. Even if they draw, I don't think they'll win the game. And Everton at Leicester. Now, Leicester, they haven't won a game in 6, just been knocked out at Europa Conference League. Maybe they'll either be still feeling the loss against Roma, or they'll be up for it and they'll want a reaction. Everton are really, really poor at home, but it's getting to the business end now. Are they going to turn it on? I don't know. I do think Leicester will win. Maybe that's just me wanting Leicester to win, obviously, but I do fancy Leicester in that one. It's Burnley that I'm concerned with, because Burnley can just get a surprise outcome, can't they? I know Chelsea were beaten by Everton, which was a bit of a shock last week. I didn't expect that, even though you might think that's naive. I just thought Chelsea had enough, obviously, but they were shocking. If Chelsea play like that against us on Wednesday, I think we'll be absolutely fine. It's actually the Chelsea one that I'm more confident on over this Arsenal game. But yeah, if we can keep the likes of Odegaard quiet, Saka, Martinelli, as I said, I'm not too concerned about Nketiah. So if we can keep him quiet, I think we'll do that anyway. I think we'll be able to keep him fairly quiet. Noticeable absentees for Arsenal. Ben White looks set to miss this game through injury. Tomiyasu, who had only just come back into the team, I'm hearing that he might not play after he picked up a slight injury against West Ham last week. Yes, they beat West Ham last week, but they weren't great. I watched bits of it. It wasn't a convincing victory. Apparently, there's some weird stat that when Arsenal win 3 games in a row, they go and lose the next one after that. They've just won the last 3. So, hopefully. But yeah, it's one of them. In terms of a score prediction, who knows? It could go either way. It could be a convincing Arsenal win. We could absolutely SHIT house a result, whether it be a draw or a win. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. Arsenal 2, Leeds 2. I think goal scorers for Leeds, I'm going to go with Harrison and Rodrigo. We need to be seeing more from Rafinha. I do think even though Marsh doesn't like playing in a wide system, I feel like, Emirates, I've been down there, the pitch is huge. We need to utilise the wings because that's what we're good at. Yes, he might want to play the narrow 4-2-2-2 next season, no matter what league we're in. But I feel like for now, with the squad he's got, he needs to utilise his best assets, which is Rafinha and Harrison and James on wings, Rodrigo through middle, and Phillips solidifying that midfield. Phillips will probably just have the job of keeping Odegaard quiet. I think he's more than capable of that. He has looked a little bit rusty since he's come back into side as Phillips. Hopefully he can have a great game tomorrow. But yeah, I am going for a 2-2 draw at the Emirates, and fingers crossed at Burnley and Everton both just don't get any points. That'd be the perfect scenario. And yeah, it might only be a point further away, but it's still a point closer to survival. Chelsea and Brighton, 2 home games in a row, they're going to be huge. I think 4 points minimum I'd like to see out of that. 3 could be enough. It depends. Everton have got a game against Watford at Watford on the same night that we play Chelsea. Everton really poor away from home. Watford really poor at home. That could just go either way for me, but we just need to take care of ourselves. Wishing Stuart Dallas a speedy a recovery. Sorry, my mind just went blank there. From his operation, apparently he was down there about 5.5 hours in operation. Marsh said it's going to be a long road, but he will get there. So fingers crossed that he comes back stronger than ever. And yeah, as I say, I'm kind of rambling now. So yeah, 2-2. I just want to say as well, just as a disclaimer, I have said on the channel that I'm in the process of moving house. I actually moved the day after the Chelsea game, so Thursday of this week coming. So the Chelsea preview on Tuesday will probably be my last video for like a week or so, whilst I get everything moved over to my new house. I will be obviously active on Twitter and Instagram with some thoughts. If I do manage to get any videos out, it'll just be on my phone, I would have thought, whilst I get my room set up in the new house with my desk and everything. So yeah, just a disclaimer for if there's not a lot of content after the Chelsea preview. But of course, I will be back after the Arsenal game tomorrow with my match review. Hopefully it's a good one, and I'll see you then. Cheers.